What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Justin Ford podcast, where I'll be releasing life-changing principles and valuable information focused on all things faith, finance, family, fitness, real estate, and so much more. Let's go! What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the Justin Ford Unleashed podcast. Super excited to be with you again today. Hopefully you've been doing great since the last show we had. Guys, if you are enjoying this show, do me a favor, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. If you're tuning in for the first time, definitely check out all the other episodes that we had. If you want to follow me, you can here on social media at The Official Justin Ford. Again, at The Official Justin Ford. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, and also here on YouTube. Feel free to go ahead and leave me a review of the show. Appreciate all the love and the support so far. We've got another great episode in store for you today. If you're watching the video, you can see I'm wearing my maize and blue. There's a big game, guys, this Saturday, Michigan versus Ohio State. It's known as the game, the greatest rivalry in sports. We're going to talk about that today. But before we get into that, this episode is brought to you by my friends over at Next Door Lending. Next Door Lending is a team of professionals that believe everyone should be treated as if they lived next door. The founders and team members have more than 150 years of combined experience helping clients all over the country choose the best loan program to help accomplish their goals. Next Door Lending is currently licensed in 21 states and has a team of over 100 loan officers specializing in helping you get the best rate and terms. Whether you are looking to refinance your home or you're looking to purchase your next home, call my friends over at Next Door Lending at 888-885-3667. Super excited to be sharing this episode with you. If you've listened to previous episodes before, you'll know I'm a big Michigan football fan. If you haven't, today's your lucky day. I've been a Michigan football fan since I was a kid. I did not go to U of M. Some people think that you got to go to U of M to be a football fan there. That's not true. That's usually what the Michigan State fans say, is you always got to you got to go to Michigan, and if you're not, you're just a Walmart, Michigan fan. But I grew up loving Michigan football. I just there's something about it. I've been going to games since I was a kid. I love Michigan football probably more than any other sport or sports team. Football is my favorite sport, but man, there's something about college football, and I go to every home game. My kids love Michigan football. I've been taking my kids since they were young. They all love Michigan football, and it's just something that we absolutely love. What's cool is now that we're shooting the podcast here in Ann Arbor, Michigan is located, the University of Michigan is located in Ann Arbor. It is just special. It's special to be here in Ann Arbor. So for those of you guys that don't like football, stick around, because I'm going to be sharing with you 10 interesting facts about the greatest football rivalry, greatest sports rivalry there is. I know there's a lot of great rivalries out there, and I don't just say it because I'm a Michigan fan, but they say this is the granddaddy of them all. And I had the opportunity. I've gone to now 3 Michigan versus Ohio State games. The last three home games I went to, and 2 out of the 3 we just got slaughtered. And I'll be honest, for the last 20 years, it has not even really been a rivalry. Just started to become a rivalry again because Ohio State has dominated the rivalry for the last 20 years. But in our defense, we've had some pretty crappy coaches, and it's taken Jim Harbaugh some time to get to the team to where it is today. We're 11-0, going into the Ohio State game, and this is the first time Michigan has been, undefeated for this long. And what's amazing is right now the college football playoff comes out tonight, but if it remains the same, Ohio State will be number 2, Michigan will be number 3. That's how it's been for the last couple of weeks. And this is it. Like, it does not get any bigger than this when it comes to college football. And whoever wins this Saturday goes to the the Big Ten championship. And then from there to the college football playoff. So, I mean, this is like win or go home. This week's game is actually in Ohio State. Last year's game was in Ann Arbor, and I went to that game, and it was probably one of the most special and exciting things I've ever experienced. If you're a Michigan fan and you watched the game, you know what I'm talking about. If you were there, you know what I'm talking about even more. It snowed that day. My dad and I went. My dad and I had not been to a Michigan game in a while, but that was the one that I wanted to take him to. And it snowed that day, and Michigan not only won, but they destroyed Ohio State. It was like the greatest thing ever. All the fans stormed the field. It was amazing. And what was even more cool about last year's experience and even this year is I've actually had the privilege to get to know some of the players. My friend Corey, his nephew, Corey Edwards, his nephew is Donovan Edwards. So I've had the chance to get to know Donovan, J.J. McCarthy, the quarterback from Michigan, some of the other players. I've had the chance to hang out with their families for tailgating and hanging out after the game and stuff. And so this team is really special. And being a big football fan, it was tough, to be a Michigan fan for so many years, but it's so exciting now to see the turnaround that they've had. So let's just go ahead and get right into it. Again, if you're not a Michigan fan, these are still some really cool, interesting facts that you'll be able to learn here. And so I want to give you the 10 interesting facts about Michigan versus Ohio State. It's hard for folks outside of the Midwest, especially those born after 1980, to understand how this rivalry, right, which Michigan leads 58 wins to 51 wins to Ohio State to 6 ties. The discrepancy in the number of meetings versus record is because Ohio State vacated its 2010 win, became one of the biggest in the sport. Here are the 10 facts that may help shed some light on that question. Here we go. Number one, they call it the Toledo War. The hatred of this rivalry was fueled by both Michigan and Ohio's claim of the Toledo Strip, a 468 square mile region of land at the state's borders. When Michigan tried to join the Union in 1835, it tried to include the Toledo Strip in its borders, and Ohio blocked its admittance. President Andrew Jackson stepped in and worked out a compromise where Ohio received the Strip and Michigan received the Upper Peninsula, which was mainly on an unsettled territory at the time. It is safe to say that both fan bases have put the Toledo War behind them, but it was still fresh on people's minds when the teams first met. Now, I don't know if you guys really understand the rivalry, right? Maybe you don't, but this is how crazy the rivalry gets. Like, both teams, prepare for this game the entire year. I was down in Ohio, in Columbus, because that's where Ohio State is, a couple years ago, and I was speaking at a Glover U event. I was doing a session. I was at a Keller Williams office, and when they introduced me, they said, and we'd like to welcome Justin Ford from that state up north. Like, they won't even say the word Michigan. That's how crazy they are down there. They won't even say the word Michigan. They actually take anything that has for game week leading up to it. They take any word, any business, any word, anything out in public that has an M on it, and they put a red X through it. So they do not even acknowledge the letter M or the word Michigan. All right, fun fact number 2, the first meeting. Michigan was a much better team when the teams first met on October 16th, 1897 in Ann Arbor. The Wolverines scored all of their touchdowns in the first half and played conservative ball in the second half in a rout of 34-0. Michigan finished the season at 6-1-1, while Ohio State would finish 1-7-1. The two schools would not play again until 1900. Wow, 3 years later, with the game finishing in a tie. Fun fact number 3, Michigan and Ohio State have tied 6 times. There have been 6 ties in this rivalry. The two teams played to a 0-0 ending in their second meeting in 1900 and tied each other in 1910, 1941, 1949, 1973, and 1992. The 1973 tie was the only blemish on both schools' records that year, and the 92 tie made Michigan the last team to finish the regular season unbeaten with only 8 wins since they had already tied Notre Dame and Illinois. In the early 1900s, the situation was much different for Ohio State. The best the Buckeyes could hope for was a tie, thanks to legendary Michigan coach Fielding Yost. So here's the thing. You can't tie football anymore. So this was like back in the day when you could actually tie. So there's no more ties now. They go into overtime and they will play back and forth until somebody wins. Okay. Fielding Yost, 1901. Fun fact number 4. In 1901, Michigan hired San Jose State coach Fielding Yost, and it could be Yost. Everybody says it differently, who quickly turned the Wolverines into the premium program in college football. Yost won 6 national titles, including 4 straight from 1901 to 1904. During that period, Michigan won every game, played in the first Rose Bowl, and beat its opposition so badly that his squads were dubbed point-a-minute teams. Yost also dominated the Buckeyes, only losing to them 3 times during his 25-year career. However, in the 1930s, the tenor of the rival would change, and the gold pants charm would be born. So what are these gold pants, you might ask? Fun fact number 5. Gold pants charm. Michigan led the series 22-6 with 2 ties when Francis Schmidt became Ohio State's head coach in 1934. When reporters asked Schmidt if Ohio State could beat Michigan, he said something to the effect of course we can win. Michigan puts their pants on one leg at a time, just like we do. He was right. Ohio State proceeded to win 4 straight, beating the Wolverines by a collective score of 114-0. Today, Buckeye players receive a gold pants charm if they beat Michigan. Schmidt gave Ohio State its pride, but the next coach put the program on the same level as Michigan. Fun fact number 6, Paul Brown. In 1941, Ohio State hired Paul Brown, who had won 6 straight state championships at Massillon Washington High School in Massillon, Ohio. Brown immediately transformed the Buckeyes program, and the 1941 Michigan-Ohio State game marked the first time both schools met ranked in the AP poll. The 14th-ranked Buckeyes tied the 5th-ranked Wolverines 20-20. The next year, Ohio State beat Michigan 21-7 on its way to winning the first national title in the program's history. Brown left Ohio State for military service at the end of the 1943 season, and by 50, the Wolverines had resumed control of the series. A game in a blizzard would change that and bring this series into the modern era. Pretty interesting stuff. Even if you're a Michigan, Ohio State, like if you're a Michigan fan or an Ohio State fan, it's pretty cool to read these fun facts. Fun fact number 7, the Snow Bowl. On November 25th, 1950, Ohio State and Michigan faced off in Columbus with the Big Ten title on the line. Whichever team won would have to overcome their opponent. 10-degree weather, 28-mile-per-hour winds, and snow falling at a rate of 2 inches per hour. If you think I'm being hyperbolic about the conditions, check out this video, so you'll have to check that out. Both teams punted a collective 45 times for 1,408 yards, and Michigan managed to win 9-3, accumulating only 27 yards of offense and no first downs in a game forever known as the Snow Bowl. Ohio State head coach Wes Fessler resigned amidst severe criticism about this play calling in the game and was replaced by Woody Hayes. This is where things got interesting. Fun fact number 8, the 10-year war. Woody Hayes won 5 national titles in Columbus and went 12-6 against Michigan from 1951 to 1968. The last win during that period was a 50-14 whipping of the Wolverines in 1968, where Hayes went for 2 after the final touchdown. When asked why the colorful and volatile, Hayes answered, "Because I couldn't go for 3. The next year, the Buckeyes were ranked number 1 and riding a 22-game win streak when they faced Michigan, and first-year head coach Bo Schembechler, a former assistant to Hayes, the 12th-ranked Wolverines built a 24-12 halftime lead and held it for the remainder of the game. This launched what would become known as the 10-year war, a decade of intense rivalry and competition between the two teams. From 1969 to 1978, Michigan held the slight edge during those 10 games, going 5-4-1. The teams were ranked in the top 10 in 7 of those games and in the top 5 in 5 of them. It is actually kind of amazing that these schools have only held the top 2 spots one time when they met, and that was in 2006. Fun fact number 9, only one number 1 versus number 2 matchup. The only number 1 versus number 2 matchup in the rivalry game came in 2006. Both teams entered the game undefeated for the first time since 1973, and the hype surrounding their meeting has not been eclipsed by any game since until this year. The Buckeyes jumped out to a 28-14 halftime lead at home and held on to it despite a furious Michigan comeback to eventually win 42-39. I remember that. I think I cried after that game, honestly. A mere 14 bowl championship series ranking points prevented a rematch from taking place in the BCS National Championship game, as Florida finished .945 and Michigan finished .932. I remembered that, and we got robbed. We wanted to see a rematch of Michigan-Ohio State, and nobody else did. So they had Florida, right? They had Florida go in. One final note, the drama surrounding this matchup turned to sadness when Bo Schembechler died of a heart attack the day before the game. And if you're a Michigan fan, you know that Bo is a legend here at Michigan. It was a very sad moment in a rivalry that has produced so much greatness, guys. This is the game. This is why we call it the game. This is the granddaddy of them all. And then number 10, 19 national championships. Ultimately, the reason the rest of the country cares about this game is because of the fact that these schools win. After all, no college football program has won more games in history than Michigan and Ohio State, respectively. Along the way, these two schools have produced 173 All-Americans, 10 Heisman Trophy winners, 81 conference championships. These schools also have 19 national titles between them, and depending on how the rest of the season plays out, might be another added to that total. Well, I'm going to tell you guys right now, this game, this Saturday, there's going to be more hype around this game than any other game Michigan and Ohio State have played. You have two powerhouses. Ohio State's definitely upset that they lost last year because they said they were going to hang 100 on Michigan, and Michigan whooped them. It's obviously going to be hard going into Columbus to play Ohio State at the Horseshoe, which is one of the toughest places to play. And it really doesn't even matter what the records are between these two teams. When these two teams come together, it's an all-out war. And so for these two teams to both be undefeated with the Big Ten championship game on the line, man, this is going to be insane. And so, Michigan is currently on a win streak. We've won, we didn't play 2 years ago during COVID, but we won last year. And, it's been a tough go since Jim Harbaugh has been here. I mean, he was on the hot seat. Jim Harbaugh, almost was fired. He lost all the games that he played against Urban Meyer. And he right now currently against Ryan Day, he's won one and he's lost one. And so I believe this is going to be another 10-year war between Michigan and Ohio State. And I'm excited to see Michigan football back. And so if you are a football fan, I'm sure you'll be watching this game this Saturday. If you're not a football fan, just check it out. Watch ESPN. Watch all the stuff this week leading up to this game. It is special. And this game is going to be incredible. I highly recommend tuning in, and I'm going to be representing so hard. Michigan versus Ohio State this Saturday in Columbus for the Big Ten championship ticket. Whoever wins this game is going to the Big Ten championship, and I'll be honest, guys, I am so excited. Well, that's it. I just wanted to do a quick episode on the game because I am super passionate about 4 things: family, faith, football, and I love food too. So those are the 4 F's: faith, family, football, and food. But football is right up there, guys. I love Michigan football. So with that said, this is definitely an exciting time as the football season is coming to an end. But listen, on another note, if you're looking for a great home inspection experience, then give my friends a call over at Weatherstone Home Inspections. Guys, this is the only company that I personally entrust with my own customers. And the reason why is because Weatherstone has been in the business over a decade, and they've completed over 11,000 inspections and have over 1,000 five-star reviews. They're a trained team of inspectors, ensure that everything is done right. Contact my friends over at Weatherstone today at weatherstoneinspections.com or give them a call at 586-651-6556. And just to remind you, this episode is brought to you by my friends over at Next Door Lending. Next Door Lending is a team of professionals that believe everyone should be treated as if they lived next door. The founders and team members have more than 150 years of combined experience helping clients all over the country choose the best loan program and to help accomplish your goals. Next Door Lending is currently licensed in 21 states and has a team of over 100 loan officers specializing in helping you get the most when you're looking to purchase and or refinance. Give my friends a call over at Next Door Lending today at 888-885-3667 or visit their website at nextdoorlending.com. With over 600 five-star reviews and a perfect A+ Better Business Bureau rating, Next Door Lending will not only help you find the right program and terms for you, but will make sure that it's a great experience. Give them a call right now, 888-885-3667, or visit their website at nextdoorlending.com. Thanks for tuning in to another episode, guys. Again, if you're loving the show, do me a favor, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Feel free to leave me a 5-star review if you're really loving the show. Feel free to reach out if you have any questions. You want to be, on my show as a guest. If you want to ask any questions, if you have any topics you want me to talk about, send me an email, justin@justinfordunleashed.com. You can also follow me here on social media at the official Justin Ford. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, and YouTube. There's 2 things I always want to do as I end the show, and I'm actually going to do 3 things today. Number 1, it's not how you start. What matters is how you finish. And number 2, with God, all things are possible. And number 3, go blue. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you on the next one.